Okay, so now, today we are working on our house. This is our home where we live, and we are putting some LP Smartside over here on this wall. We have house wrap, rain screen. We're ready for the siding right now. That's it. This side's gonna be really easy because 8 feet just fits. You know, I'm having a lot of trouble with this first sheet. I'm afraid to nail it in and commit to it. I've got a few nails in it holding it. But something's not straight on our house. Now, our house is prone to movement, and we tried leveling it previously, but it could have moved since then. Something's not level. The house isn't level. I don't know if I have this on straight because of that. It's hard to get it. So I'm going to put another sheet on, see how it's running, and then I'll know if I can commit to that before I get too carried away.
What about putting that thing back up?
Well, I thought of it, but I was thinking it's going to be way too low. That might help a little bit.
Yeah.
On the swivel. Oh, got blasted right in the face. Let me check the top of it. Yeah, I like it. Tiny hair. Actually, this is looking pretty good.
Ugh.
Wow, I feel good about that. Our house isn't straight, but the siding is straight with our crooked house. And that means it should go evenly to the corner there. Sometimes you gotta build crooked. It's just the way it is. And that way, if we ever jack this up and level it, it'll all be straight together. I'm using Boss Stitch siding nailer and uses these coiled nails, which is very convenient because it lasts a long time. So we drop the coil in here, we feed it in into here, boom, 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 just like that. Then we close the coil door, we close this one, locks it together. That's it. It'll just unwind. I'm trying not to hit inside our window frames, you know, trying to hit wood where I can. We should do a video called "We Bought Too Many Cars and Now We Can't Afford to Fix Our House."
Yeah.
I thought this was going very smoothly, and I am happy with it, but I just realized this last sheet I put up, it's about a 1/4 inch lower than where I want it at the soffit, and I don't know why, but something abruptly changed, even though we're still making even straight lines on the siding. So it's just one of those things, working with these old houses, especially this one, it's got problems. But luckily we only have one more sheet to go, so even though we're going off course, it's not going to be enough to notice. We're just going to get this one ready. We have to rip it down just a tiny bit to get it to squeeze in there. We'll get it nailed up. Now some of these spots might look loose right here. We have a seam that's loose. That's because there's that window opening behind it. There's no framing to nail to. So those will be cut out later. After we cut out, we're going to nail all the way around the window frames to make sure it's got good connection, but I can't see the windows right now, so I can't get it fully nailed the way I'd like. Well guys, there it is, another wall done, and the house is coming together finally. It's gonna look really good once it's painted up and finished. Again, ignore the gaps. That's just where the windows are, and we can't nail the siding in where there's a hole. This part of the house, this is gonna require a lot more work. This is all old original lap siding, and we're not going to get into that yet. We're going to focus on the front part. So we're going to get this all done, new windows in, trim finished, painted. We still got to do the gable end, I'll show you that. And that's what I'm working on right now. Since these panels only come 8 feet tall, well, that's as high as we could make it. But it's okay because we're going to do something different at the top. We could just put a Z flashing and then add another panel up at the top and carrying it on just the same. That's what a lot of people do, but I don't think it looks nice. It gives it the paneled siding look. So we want to change siding up there so that we can make it look intentional and not like we just ended a panel. Does that make sense? Intentional design. So because I'm going to be changing my process up here, I know this is long-winded, but I got to explain what I'm doing. I'm going to take scraps, I'm going to rip them down so that I can space out where the trim is going to be going, because we're going to be putting trim on along the peak and on the corners. The trim is sitting on the siding, so it has to follow that plane all the way up. So the trim's going on first. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to make spacers. It all makes sense. Let me get the flow going. You want to grab this end? That's one. All right, we got our strips cut, but before I can install them, we got to get the rain screen finished. That blue rain screen right there. It's got to go up around the peak there. So I'm going to take some time to do that, getting it all fit around the windows and everything. And see what we can do. I think we have some scraps we can use. Do we still have those?
Laying around, yeah.
Look in the back of the workshop. Maybe it's there. I'm going about this all wrong. I gotta cut my house wrap to length first, I think. That'll be easier to work with. Oh man, the sun is peeking right here. And you guys, I hope you can see. I have to replace the house wrap because the old wrap is so old that it's not doing its job. Water can get right through it. Making progress. Got that little corner fixed up. We're gonna keep working our way over. Yeah, kind of leaves an awkward gap. Guess we just piece it in. Give me that one right there, actually. So, as you can see, got our rain screen done, pieced it in with all kinds of scraps that we had laying around, and that felt good to use up waste material. Now we're using more waste. This is leftover siding cutoffs that we're going to use as our spacers. You saw us rip those earlier. And I'm ready to just nail them up everywhere that the trim will go. The trim will hook to these. You're going to see how this plays out. I mitered the top so it's at the right angle for the roof. Oh yeah, that looks good. I gotta make sure this is good and tight, because this is what the trim is hooking to. It might be a little hard to see from here, but I got done what I wanted done today. Got the top coming along nicely. We got our spacer up there. Now I have to do a little bit more. What I have to do is frame out around the window up there, get that trim in place, and then we're literally ready to start setting siding. So it's a new day. We're continuing on this project. Right now, I'm gonna get the trim started. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'd like to get all that trim work done because I have to figure out the window up there, and the window intersects with the gable trim, so I have to figure out the gable first. Right here, we got our angle so that it can fit up in the gable peak, and I primed the edge. It's still wet, sealed that cut. So if I get these on there, I can see how the window is gonna fit with this, and I can decide what to do with that trim. So that's the first piece up. So what I'm doing right now is kind of building a partial window frame out of these 1x2s, and I'm going to pocket hole them together. So I got one pocket hole screw in there. I'm just going to glue it and screw it just like that. Okay. All right. So now, well, gotta be careful. We're gonna let this glue dry, but that's all we're doing for the window trim. And we are doing a smaller trim around that window because it's a small window and there's not a lot of space. And we're just trying a different trim. The reason it's only going up to here is because it's gonna actually connect with the gable trim. So I'm gonna have to cut these off at an angle, but I don't know exactly where yet. So I'm gonna put this up there, mark these to cut them so they fit up with the gable. And that means this is going to be spaced out just like the rest of the trim. It has to all be flush. So we're going to put some spacers back here so that when we put it up there, it'll be the right thickness. This is not conventional but it's just the way we're doing it. And it won't make sense until you see the siding that we're choosing and the transition from this siding to the other siding.
It's like putting mustard on.
All right, spacers. I'm going to put these on. So here it is, all done, all primed, spaced out. In just a minute, I'm going to climb up there, get it nailed into place. I thought of the best way to describe what I'm doing with all these spacers is I'm just using thicker trim. That's all I'm really trying to accomplish, is make the trim thicker than 3/4 of an inch. By adding that little sandwich of extra wood back there, it brings it up to what I would consider more like a 5/4, 5/4 trim, where it's a little over an inch. I'm trying to show you bits and pieces of this project as we go along, and here we are installing a corner trim. Squared it together with some nails, and now we can just plop it on the corner there and get it tacked in.
That's hot.
Okay, it's not going anywhere. So that's as far as we made it on our house trim work. We're going to get back into that soon and hopefully do the siding in that gable peak. But right now we're back at our mobile home. We're hitting 2 properties at once, trying to get them both done. This is where we left off on the mobile home with the drywall finishing work being done. And today I think we're finished with it. So I'm just going around and scraping any lumps and bumps off. And I'm trying to get the walls pretty smooth. I'm going with a 220 grit drywall sandpaper, and we're just gonna hit these seams. Now, when I finished this drywall, I didn't worry about this seam, I didn't worry about this seam, I didn't worry too much about that part, just on the outside. Some of them don't look great, but I focused on the ones that will be seen because they're all going to be covered with cabinets and backsplash, so you won't see the wall. So I mainly focused my energy on the seams that will be seen. So you got to pick and choose. But I'm still going to sand them all and make them look half decent. Whew, well that was dusty and tiring, but we got it done. So I pretty much sanded everything. And it's looking really good, it feels good. So now I have to vacuum, get all the dust off the floor. and also wipe down the walls with a damp rag. I just want to make sure all the dust is gone. I'm going to try to get these walls primed tonight. Well guys, I'm sweating and the sun's going down. It's getting dark in here. I'm hesitant to even keep going forward, but I really wanted to get primer on this wall tonight, so I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it in the dark. I didn't even bring lights with me. I'm out of breath. I'm going to get rolling. We'll see what we can get done. Now some people might wonder why we are using this tiny little roller on our walls. We always get this comment when people see us paint. They say, get a big roller, it will be quicker and easier. But the fact is that the small roller works better for us. We know about big rollers, but the problem with big rollers are they are heavier, they flick more, they drip more, they're just a hassle, and they don't get into corners very well. By using a small roller, we can do the job just as fast, but we also don't need to cut in our corners because the small roller will get right into the corner. They're easier on your arms, less fatigue. They barely flake at all, if any, so there's less mess all over you when you're done. And they're just easier. I like little paint rollers. They give a nice finish. They're easy to use. We don't need a giant paint tray. We can just use a little paint cup. And we found that even doing large rooms with little rollers isn't that bad. So for us, small rollers all the way. Last night we finished up the primer and look at it, it's dry and it looks really good for a prime coat. The walls actually came out a lot smoother than I expected, so I did a good job. Right now we are prepping for paint. So we're covering up, look at this big streak, flick. We're covering up the wires, some of the wires, because I'm going to be spraying the paint. Rolling it would probably be just as quick and easy, but I just want to get a nice even coverage, so I'm going to spray it on. And actually, I don't even need to spray this entire wall right here. So I'm going to skip it. It's primed, it's sealed. And the reason I don't want to paint isn't about wasting paint or anything like that. It's just that I will be putting a tile backsplash in. I'd rather not have the paint there because the less layers of other stuff you have, the better, because it'll give a better stick when I put the mortar or mastic on the wall. For the tile, I think it'll adhere better to primer than it will a finished paint. Does that make sense? So it's okay if overspray gets on the wall, but we don't want to needlessly paint it. And then the rest of it is all covered by cabinets. I'm going to keep saying that. So I'm going to skip this wall and I'm just going to paint over here. This wall will be exposed and behind you a little bit and in the bathroom. Very quick and easy. Another good thing about spraying the paint is that when I come around, I can hit the ceiling because there's some marks on the ceiling from where I got compound on it or I hit it with things. And what's cool about this is we actually chose the same exact paint that we did our ceilings for the wall. It's the same paint. So I can overspray and you won't even know. It'll help. Oh man. Now I'm starting to regret this. I can't see what I'm spraying. I can't see the white on the white. And I hope I'm getting an even finish. That's kind of why I wanted the sprayer though, because I was afraid of the roller. But this isn't giving the smooth texture that I wanted either. I am done. Now I just had to get cleaned up because after I sprayed the walls, I decided to hit the ceiling again in some places that were a little thin. I wasn't happy with, so I went back over it and of course it was showering down on me, so now I'm all speckly. Here we are. The walls are done. Look how this room, just this view is looking right here. Let me stand in the door area. This is looking cool. I hit the areas that needed to be hit. We got this wall painted, wrapping around to right here. We're actually going to have some cabinets right here on this wall. So this area wasn't important. I skipped over it. This area is going to be bare. I hit that. I also got the bathroom inside here. So you can see this bathroom wall all done. Nice and even. I am so happy with this finish. It's not perfect. I think I saw one little defect here. With that done, I think this is a good stopping point. We accomplished some big things this week. Getting this kitchen and bathroom ready for the next step. Also made some big progress on our own house, doing the siding. And we are almost getting ready to paint. We just got to finish up that gable end. And then we're going to probably start working on paint pretty soon on that. You'll have to see what color our house is going to be. But I think that's all we have for now. So thanks for watching, coming along and supporting us while we renovate this mobile home. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.
Bye.